Good morning. I'm Emily Belli from General Atomics, and on behalf of the NERSC User Group Executive Committee, I would like to welcome you all to the second day of the annual user meeting and to thank you for your participation this year. So I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person because it looks like it's a great in-person event. But already yesterday, we saw many amazing talks from areas all across the user base, and it was exciting to see some of the scientific breakthroughs that Perlmutter is enabling. So we as NUGEx just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about who we are, some of the activities that we participate in, the role of NUGEx in the user community, and to highlight some of the services that are available to users. So the NERSC User Group Executive Committee, or NUGEx, is a group of volunteers who themselves are NERSC users and are enthusiastic about HPC and NERSC and interacting with the user base. So NUGEx serves as the voice of the user community to NERSC and DOE. And as we learned yesterday, amazingly, NERSC has over 10,000 users. And NERSC user simulation encompasses a broad spectrum of scientific applications, and the users themselves have a wide range of computing and data needs. So NERSC supports users with various levels of experience, from students and postdocs to junior and senior researchers. And the users' roles range from PIs and project managers to developers to application users and modelers. So our role in NUGEx is to represent the diverse needs and interests of the user community with the goal to enhance the user experience on NERSC systems. And we work directly with the NERSC staff and the NERSC user engagement group to develop programs that bring the user community together to share in the wide breadth of knowledge and experience. So NUGEx presently consists of about 20 members and represent a broad range of DOE Office of Science programs, including OSCAR, fusion, basic energy sciences, nuclear fusion, biological and environmental research, and high energy physics. And the group is dominantly members from national labs, as seen here highlighted in blue, representing over 50% of our members. But we also have members from universities who are highlighted in purple, and even from industry, like myself, in green, from all across the US. And many of us are also users on other DOE and NSF computing facilities like OLCF, ALCF, TAC, and TAC. So we also bring experience that we have on those systems as well. And when we recently surveyed our group as to why we joined NUGEx, some of the main motivations were to take back information or ideas from the members to help both our own projects, but also other users' projects, and also to make sure that aspects across all different fields are well represented. So NUGEx meets monthly throughout the year, and as I mentioned, we work directly with the NERSC staff and the user engagement to help raise awareness to user needs, especially related to the upcoming system transitions. So I joined NUGEx in 2022, just before the transition from Cori to Perlmutter. So it will be exciting to apply some of the things that we learned in the transition to Doudnum. And we especially want to thank the NERSC staff for their support to both NUGEx and to the user community, and special thanks to our key fearless leaders, Lippy and Charles. So the role of NUGEx very generally is to oversee many user-focused activities. So I'm just going to highlight some of these very briefly here, as well as some new services that are becoming available to users. So a major role of NUGEx is, of course, participating in the planning of the annual meeting, this meeting. And this year, there is a survey that's being sent out. I believe you just saw the QR code on Lippy's slides for input on what you thought about this meeting so that we can help to improve it and add activities that you'd like to see for next year. So please participate in that. And throughout the year, we also provide input for the monthly NUG community calls, which are held at the end of the month and are topically centered, but generally have an open discussion and interactive format and include some interesting icebreakers to connect the users. So future and past events like slides and recordings can be found on the NERSC event calendar. And some training events will require pre-registration as marked, but the NUG community calls are open, and you can find the Zoom link on the webpage or in the email reminders that are often sent out just an hour or so before the meetings are held to remind you. So some highlights in 2025 included a training on CUDA, which is a series that's still ongoing, I believe, with the third session, which is to be held on October 23rd, if you're interested in joining that. There have also been a few sessions on AI tools, including deep learning at scale. There was a really interesting session on energy consumption, which is becoming kind of a hot topic, and GPU power capping. There have also been trainings on VASP and containers and Scientalks recruited from you, the user community. And we hope to see you at some of the upcoming events. So in recent years, NUGEx has also become interested in expanding these so-called special interest groups. And these bring together users on a shared topical theme. So I would especially like to highlight the Weather Research and Forecasting Group that was started by one of our own NUGEx members, Koichi Sakaguchi, in 2023, as well as this Grads at NERSC group, which focuses on topics that are of interest to students that just started last year. So special events that are tailored to these groups are tagged in the online calendar. And if you have ideas for new groups that you'd like to see, please feel free to reach out to us or to the user engagement so that we can help to make those connections happen. So I'd also like to bring to your attention something that's coming up, which is the annual NERSC Early Career Awards for High Impact Scientific Achievement and Innovative Use of HPC. So we again congratulate the 2024 winners who were actually given this in, I believe, February of 2025. But these were Ronald Kowski, Vinicius McCuney, Kyla Davila, Axel Hubble, and Massimiliano Pacini. So an announcement to nominate your students and early career researchers will be coming out soon in the weekly email list. And the award winners are highlighted in a NUG community call. So this is a great opportunity to hear more about some of the exciting projects and scientific breakthroughs that have come about on Perlmutter from our early career researchers. And finally, NUGEx has a general mission to work to improve the user experience, which is kind of a general comment, but things that we do behind the scenes that are ongoing are making sure that the documentation is kept up to date, including the use of the systems and the policies. So NERSC maintains a very comprehensive suite of documentation online that is continuously updated with some good information that includes best practices for jobs and also an expanding means for users to contribute to community-supported workflow tools. So if you have something you would like to contribute to the community, please reach out. So we've also been working on improvements to the ticketing system for communicating issues and getting feedback on progress, streamlining the ERCAT process, which just ended for this year on Monday, and making suggestions for how the NERSC Center can communicate better to users in a way that is effective without basically spamming people with too many emails. So a detailed topic has been the quarterly reductions, which became more strict starting last year, and how to send out some helpful reminders about this so users are more aware of it at key times when the reductions are happening and not losing out on some time. And we also provide advice throughout the year on the queues, making this less of a source of frustration for users in a way that's a little more helpful, and discounts for big jobs and preempting. So these are often motivated by our own experiences as users ourselves who use the system and these services. And an emerging topic of concern for many users that we talk about and hear about is data policies, particularly the growing needs for group versus individual scratch space, especially in this growing area of AI and ML, and the persistence of data when projects end. So we're currently in discussions to try to develop some helpful policies about that. Getting advice from a user perspective on your workflows for preparing for N10 is a major initiative, building on yesterday's webinar and the panel and the great questions that you contributed to that. And we also want to highlight some new tools that are coming out for user onboarding, some of which are already online, like some pretty neat 4-minute how-to YouTube videos and some more formal educational or certificate trainings that will be available soon from the center that can help you as you add new users to your projects with various ranges of experience. And in case you are not aware, there is also a NUG Slack that is open to all users to join. So this provides a forum that does not replace the help desk, but rather helps to keep users informed about things that are going on at the center and to get pretty much immediate advice. So it's not officially run by NERSC, but if you join it, you often see that some NERSC staff are kind of active participants or lurking in the background. So there are currently over 60 channels that cover a wide range of topics, with some of the most popular being General Perlmutter or the NERSC Center, but there's also some kind of topically focused channels on machine learning, Jupyter, and interesting tips and tricks. So if you might be interested in becoming more involved, we would love to have you join us. So the announcement for nominations for new NUGEx members is coming out soon. It's a pretty minimal commitment. We meet once a month, but you get a chance to meet some interesting users and also the staff and kind of learn some new things from each other. And we also hope that we will see more of you at the community calls, trainings, and the special events that can be found on the calendar that's linked here and is continuously updated. So again, if you have any requests for or suggestions for NUGEx, please reach out to us as your liaison for the user engagement. And finally, I just want to thank all of you for your enthusiastic participation in this meeting. It's great to see so many participants and to have the meeting be so interactive. And it is really different every year and kind of an evolving process. So we hope that it's something that the users really get something out of. And we also want to thank the NUGEx members for their service this year. And of course, thank you to the amazing NERSC staff for their ongoing user support. So thank you for your attention.
Were there any questions for Emily or comments or thoughts? Or we have several other NUGEx members here in the room. If anyone wants to add anything, yeah, go for it.
Thank you for your advocacy on all these things. They touch on a number of things that I care about, so that's nice. Does NUG have any formal role in requirements gathering for the next machine?
I think no, maybe, I'm not sure.
Not a formal role, but certainly we will be reaching out to NUG in our requirements gathering. So I think we'll be doing for all the users, trying to make sure we solicit information. I'm going to point to what he is going to be leading our requirements gathering for NERSC.
So previously, historically, we've had a series of requirement reviews.
Yeah, but it seems funny that they seem separate from NUG when it seems like NUG should have a seat at the table.
Right, yeah. So you know, historically, we went to the individual program offices and had big workshops that ran similar to NUG. Now, the last one of those was the exascale requirements reviews. So for NERSC 10, we did have like a series of presentations to different groups, which was kind of like an update for NERSC 10. And I'm pretty sure we did present NUG for that. But it was like a more informal feedback than a formal one.
Yeah, I think it did NUG present to you.
Yeah.
Direction I want.
Yeah, I mean, that was an information gathering presentation.
What is your suggestion about NUG presenting to us?
Well, in the sense that if NUG is advocating for what users need, when you're designing NERSC 10, it seems that NUG should have a seat at the table advocating for what users need. That seems like a big part of what NUG is.
Yeah.
But isn't that handled by the per program office, like during a requirements review? You know, HEP says this is what we need from our community.
Yeah, I guess maybe a more direct user to NERSC communication that doesn't go through the program office and get reinterpreted.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting it's the only thing, but it feels like it should be part of the mix.
I think in the deep past, when we did the green book exercises, it was almost like that.
Right.
But then we went to these kind of for office reviews.
Yeah. So for NERSC 11, we plan to do some exercise, which we're just kind of discussing with DOE at the moment. So we could build in an aspect of this to that. I mean, we're hoping to do some of these requirements release can be quite heavyweight, so we're hoping to do something a bit more lightweight that might involve a survey, etc. And so we could use that to also, as well as going through the program offices, go through NUGEx as well. So
There's also one problem with, I mean, NUGEx presents the current users. If you build a new machine that's multiple years away and you want to integrate new capabilities, attract new use cases by default, they're not represented in the current user base. So in that sense, that's always difficult. Ask the current users what they want. Leave everything as they are, as it is forever.
yeah.
So you have to strike a balance there.
Yeah.
But definitely, once you go to the phase where you get a bit closer to deployment and you start thinking about how you move users onto it, and what is, I'm sure we'll be discussing it. How do you basically get the users onto the new machine, teach them how everything works?
How do you get the staff onto the?
Well, that's a NERSC problem.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say from the point of view of NUGEx, I think we're pretty proactive in advocating for getting information out as soon as it's available. I think Lippy can tell you at our meetings, the first thing that always comes up is, when can you tell us more about N10 and when can we get on it? And so we're always kind of advocating for getting that out there to do anything to help the users in the transition.
Does anyone have any thoughts of what we're missing maybe from some of the things that Emily mentioned? Is there anything that NUGEx could be doing that we aren't doing yet? And this includes everybody online. There's 25 people online, if anyone has any thoughts. For those who've been around or part of NUGEx for a while, is there something that like the NUGEx used to do that we haven't done recently? I mean, I stepped into this role like, what, 2.5-ish years ago, so maybe I'm not even aware of things that NUGEx could participate in. Okay, well, as per usual, we're all very accessible, so if anyone does think of something, it's very easy to find us.